Okay, working on part 2 of Salt Lake City, Utah and Idaho Division. Salt Lake City, OCC, Clearfield, OCC, Ogden, OCC, Idaho Division. We're starting out on page 21. It says Ogden Subdivision. Hey, Ice House, where the Ice House tracks were. That one's interesting, pork and beans. Shasta track. For maybe the Shasta beverage? Don't know. Business car spur. Maintenance away. Coal companies. Smith and Edwards. Ogden Quick Freeze, East and West. So, those are the name of the businesses. There's the tracks. This is a book that the switch crews would use to find where to put the train cars, where to collect the train cars when they're on switching duties. The number here, that's their track number. So this one's for Ivona, Utah, Relaco, Utah, Sugarworks Spur, Utah, Roy Lumber Spur, and Arsenal. Arsenal is Hill Air Force Base. Coming along, here is the Ogden Yard. Now this thing here in the square, that means that it's nearby, but it's not part of this. It's just a way of Union Pacific saying it's farther away, but we put it all in one spot for you. Southern Pacific Yard, Southern Pacific Tracks, Denver Rio Grande Yard here. And then you want to know which way is north, south, east, and west. You look at the shield. East is at the top of the page, west at the bottom, north to the left, south to the right. Try to get everything in there so someone could take a screenshot if it interests them. Okay, continuing the Ogden Yard, Ogden, Utah, Riverdale Yard. Then we have the Ogden, Utah, Riverdale Yard. Continuing here. This shows Southern Pacific main line across the bottom of the page. So I put my thumb there. Gotta hold it somehow. There we are. Continuing. You got 3 squares. That means that none of these are near each other, but they're all on one page so that you can see them. So you have the continuity of the railroad. Another map. Shows Hill Air Force Base with gates. And then the Riverdale Yard down the road. Hill Air Force Base today is where they maintain a lot of locomotives for the whole military, not just for Hill Air Force Base. So you might get an engine in there from a Marine Corps base or from an Army base or even Naval base. And then they overhaul it, work on it there, and send it back out on the National Train Network to its home. Brigham City, Utah, very important place in history. Honeyville, Dewey, Collingsworth, and Wilton. Continuing, Cashy Junction, then going up into Idaho. These tracks just keep going north. Here's your map. These little numbers are your track numbers. Randall and Harrisville aren't close. Shows Southern Pacific Junction, I'm guessing, or SP Junction. Don't know. That's just a guess on my part. There's those tracks. We have Little Mountain, Utah, Hot Springs, Willard, and Perry. Here we have Brigham City, Utah. Okay, Brigham. Right about where my thumb is, where the depot used to be. Actually, the depot's still there today. It's not part of Union Pacific. The lady that was responsible for saving that depot is the same one that started a little project that we now know today as National. Is it National Spike? Or Spike National? Gold Spike National Park, where they go out and they reenact the Transcontinental Railroad every day and on special occasions to get an even bigger party going. This track here goes to Corinne. Corinne's another important place we'll chat about. Continuing north, Honeyville, Dewey, Collingsworth, and Wheeling. This says to Cache Junction. That way's to Brigham City. Sometimes I get braid fade like everybody else. Okay, so here's Cache Junction, Utah. And here's Mendon, Utah. They're far away from each other, but on this map they're together. So you have your continuity. Cornish, Idaho. I wonder if they have Cornish game hens there. Gotta be a reason why you have the name of that. Then we're into Idaho, Weston, Idaho, Dayton, Idaho. North is to the right, west is to the top of the page. Continuing north, Clifton, Colum, and Swan Lake. Been to Swan Lake, Idaho. We have Downey, Virginia, and I'm not going to try. Okay. We got Corinne, Utah, Ford, Utah, Tremonton, Garland, then up into Idaho. This branch comes off at Brigham, goes west, hits Corinne, and then goes north to Idaho. Remember I talked about Corinne earlier? Okay, so here's Corinne, Utah, Ford, Utah, Trenton, Utah. Corinne, says Brigham City. Right about here is where the original Transcontinental Railroad came through. There's a section of track in Corinne that's still part of the original Transcontinental Railroad before it cuts off into a marsh. And then you've got the right-of-way that goes up to Promontory Summit. Also, there's a major manufacturer of rocket boosters over by Golden Spike National Park. And they load their rocket boosters at Corinne and then send them to Florida to be launched at Cape Canaveral, whatever they call it now, Florida Spaceport. Continuing on, Garland, Nucor, and then up to Malad, Utah, and then the tracks end there. Nothing beyond. If you notice a little line across there, that's where the branch ends. Hey, here we go. Wellsville, Logan Sugar Spur, Logan, Utah, Smithfield, Utah, Richmond, Presto. And here's our maps. Don't want to block anything with my thumb. There you are. Beeping you have is buses are returning to the yard. I'm filming in the yard today because I have a trip in less than 45 minutes. Logan, Utah. Smithfield, Utah. Richmond and Presto. Again, the square. They're not near each other. North to the right, south to the left. North to the right, south to the left. West to the top of the page, east to the bottom of the page. Traditionally, north is the top of the page. Not with railroads. They do things different. Franklin, Idaho. Whitney, Idaho. Preston, Idaho. And this shows the end of the branch here too. Coming to our last couple of pages, we have Unitah, Utah, Peterson, Devil's Slide, Hefner, Echo, Baskin, Emery, and Wasatch. Wasatch in May of 2019, the water tower is still there. Then you have Park City Branch, Yard 14. It's gone. It's not there anymore. But 1987, it was still there. Here we have Unitah, Peterson, Morgan, Devil's Slide. Turn the page. This is our last page. But you've got Hefner. Then you have Echo, Baskin, Emery, and Wasatch. Like I said, there used to be a water tank up here at Wasatch. You can also see the old tunnel with the original main line way back when. Utah, Echo, Utah, most of this yard is here. The Park City branch is cut off here. The sulfur they used to pull out of the mines along this branch is now trucked to here, put into cars, and then sent wherever. Coville, Utah, down to One Ship, Utah, is now the Union Pacific Trail. You can actually bicycle from about here is Echo Reservoir, 26 miles down along the original right-of-way. There you are, part 2 completed.